Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Media, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside,
it's your boy, Mr. Hit the Like Button, sub to the channel, Caesar Fantastic.
well, today, ladies and gentlemen, listen, it's an honor and a pleasure to have one of the most powerful punchers of all times, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when you think of knockouts, it's only in that era, it was only two came to mind. That was no other than Mike Tyson and the legendary Julian the Hawk Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no other than one of the hardest punchers of all times, Hall of Famer, Julian the Hawk Jackson. How's it going, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. Chilling here in the Virgin Islands, uh, you know, um, and just allowing God to have His way in my life, man.
Nice.
Yes, indeed. Brother C's is going to break down your career, man. He's going to ask you a couple of questions and ask you questions about your career, and I'll
Sure.
come in and ask you from the technical aspects of the sport.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna start with it all how it all began, man. When did you start boxing, and what got
Hey,
you
man.
into it?
Wow, boxing started at a young age, at least 12 years old. Um, my mother, they call me a mommy boy, or I'm always around my mother, and my father wasn't there for me, but I always hang with my mother, and she one day she got a little upset, and she said she wants me to go and join something and get involved in something and get out the house and do something, and I said okay. So I figured that maybe if I join boxing, she might want me to come back home by joining boxing. And anyway, I joined boxing, and she said, "Great, man, awesome, go for it." And believe it or not, you know, when I entered the gym with my friend, as a matter of fact, I went with a friend of mine, and the coach pointed at me, and he says, "I'm gonna make you a champion." And I was looking, and not me, you talking to me, and I looked behind of me to see if there was somebody else. Because he couldn't be talking to me. I had a low self-esteem about myself. But anyway, he was talking to me, and he says, "I'm going to make you a champion." And he talked about his life in boxing, and that really drew me. And I tell you what, the rest is history. I entered the boxing, the boxing gym, and I got caught, man. I took the bait, the sinker. I took everything, the bait, hook, and sinker, and I and I went up the line. I became the amateur champion of the Virgin Islands, and things just started to happen. I was geared to go to the Olympics, but it was canceled by I think then President, I think it was President, um,
Carter.
boy,
Carter.
Carter.
Right?
Yeah, it could have been Carter, yes. And it was canceled because of the he was having some kind of situation with Russia.
Russia, yeah.
Yeah, and it got canceled. And after that got canceled, my trainer decided to turn me pro.
Okay,
Yeah, and
now
I started boxing.
that pro debut with
Wow.
in Inocencio Carmona. How did it feel heading into that
Wow.
fight?
Incencio Carmona. How do you know that?
Man, I've been looking at
Wow, man, look, you're the first person that I ever talked to in an interview that talked to me about my first fight. Incencio Carmona from Puerto Rico.
From Puerto Rico.
Wow, you got me there, Chad.
Yeah. Now, how was it heading into that fight? Just the change in dynamics from pros to amateur. How was it? How was your
Hey, I
mindset
tell you
heading
what,
into it?
man. Look, I was dedicated, man, to boxing. I did boxing. I slept it. I ate boxing. I did everything, and I wanted to be the best. I was very competitive, and I only had 17 amateur fights. I lost two.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
and in Sensio Corona, whatever his name was, he was a 3 4 time Golden Glove champion.
Yeah.
And this is as a matter of fact, I'll never forget the commentator of that fight said the winner of this fight is going to become a champion.
Yeah.
No, I'll never forget it. They said the winner of it because they expected Incensio to beat me
To win.
because
Yeah.
his amateur records, I mean, was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I only had 17 amateur fights,
17 fights. Yeah.
lost two. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Hallelujah. I mean, it's just amazing that they did not realize the hunger, the
Mm-hmm.
desire, the thirst, that I
Mm-hmm.
was that I was carrying. And it was my first professional fight ever. As a matter of fact, I made for a 4 rounder, I made $100 for
Mm.
that fight.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Can you imagine that?
Yo.
It's crazy.
Wow.
25 bucks a round.
Around $25 a round.
A
That's
round. Wow.
crazy. Now, yeah,
Man,
then
you got to love the sport
Yes,
to
sir.
you got to. You
you
got
have to
to.
love the sport, man.
You
And
got
I
to.
love the sport, man. And the sport, I tell you what, the sport changed my life. It took me out of the streets because I knew, thank God for my mother, you know, but I believe that I would not have made it if it wasn't for boxing. I
Yeah.
probably might have ended up in jail. I probably might have ended up in the graveyard. I probably might have been on drugs and crack. But because
Mhm.
of boxing, and God
Yeah.
had God had His hand in that, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So now going back to those 17 amateur fights, how devastating was it for you not to be able to represent the Virgin Islands in the Olympics?
Oh man, it was devastating, man. That's the cream of the crop. That's
Uh,
the icing on top of the cake to make it to the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Just
mm-hmm.
making it, would give you an opportunity, to really, I think, get chosen by a good, maybe promoter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that didn't happen, and you know, um, I really felt that, hey, maybe that's the end of it. But then my trainer said, no, man, we're gonna turn pro,
You're
and
gonna do the
we're
pro.
gonna we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna start from the very beginning, and your first fight, we're gonna make sure that you're always ready, you're always in shape. Don't ever enter the ring without being in shape. I want you to respect, the sport,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
that you're in. Okay, he said, I want you to sleep boxing. I want you to, eat boxing. I want you to dream boxing. And from the old school, my trainer was an old school, trainer, and he taught me to really respect the sport. And I didn't want to go out partying. I didn't want to drink. I don't want to pop. I didn't want to smoke. I didn't want to get into drugs uh, uh, because of what my trainer taught me. He
Wow.
said, if you don't respect the sport will not respect you.
That's facts.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Now, okay, so 27 of your first 29 fights ended in KO, and you were 29-0 heading into the Mike McCallum fight.
Yeah.
Being that your first 29 fights were relatively quick, how
Wow.
confident were you heading into that fight?
Man, if Mike Tyson was at the end of that corner, if he was in the corner, I thought I would have knocked him out too. That's how
Uh-huh.
confident I was.
That's right.
Wow, it's crazy. But you know what? The whole island was backing me. The whole island was, man. The governor. I mean, the senators. uh, family, friends, the whole community. We only 32 square miles.
Mm.
Everybody supported me there in the Virgin Islands. And
Wow.
when I went into that fight with Mike McCallum, I lost the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. That was devastating to my life. That was
Mm.
devastating to me. I didn't want to come back home because I felt that I let down everybody. I felt that I let down the government. I let down my own people, my trainer. As a matter of fact, my trainer had passed away, and that fight was dedicated to him, and I lost.
Mm.
Wow.
But you know what?
Mm.
I'm be honest with you. That loss made me what I am today.
Yeah.
That loss,
Uh,
that first loss. I had to get over that bump. I had to get over that hurdle. I had to realize that, hey, you know what? Uh, 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 God still loves me. As a matter of fact, somebody told me, man, your family will turn their back. The government will turn their back. The people will turn their back. But God will never
mm-hmm.
turn his back on you.
That's
And
right.
that gave me a little hope. That gave me a little strength. That gave me a little, determination. And I was able to get back up, and I was able to come home. I was able to, say, you know what? I'm going to give it one more try. I'm going to make my trainer, who was deceased, because I promised him that I'm going to become a champion. I promised Willie Wilhelm George, the man that pointed at me and said, I'm going to make you a champion.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that, look, I'm not going to give up. He passed, yes, but I'm going to make this thing happen for him.
That can happen
And
for
I
him.
tell
That's
you
right.
what, when I fought Mike McCallum, man, wow, it was devastating to me after the referee stopped that fight. I
Mm.
I I, I tell you what, I was hurt. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to hide anything. I got tongue in my eye. I got several low blow,
Mm.
and I really think it was a fight that I think I was very green. I was
Yeah.
green going into that fight because the tactics that not only Mike McCallum but his corner, Luduva, the dog,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
pit bull. They call him the
Yeah.
pit bull.
Uh-huh.
And man,
Uh,
he pulled out all the tricks. He pulls all the tricks. And
uh,
it was, and believe me, it was said, hey, you got to calm this guy, man. If you don't, um, he's gonna floor you. I remember I caught Mike McCallum, and he took a knee.
mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
took a knee,
Yep.
and after that, boy, it was war, and he caught me some good punch. I got a thumb in my eye. I got low blow, and the referee stopped the fight. And to me, it was a controversial fight. I thought I could have continued, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
that was his decision. We had to
Yeah.
accept it. But
Gotta live
anyway,
with it.
we
Okay.
got the rematch. But Mike McCallum said, "Nope, I'm gonna give up the belt." He gave up.
Yeah.
He gave up the belt and move up the weight, and then that gave me that actually opened up the door for me to
Yeah.
get a fight.
Into back.
Okay, in Quebec in Las
Mm-hmm.
Vegas. Wow, and
Yeah.
I was able to become the junior middleweight champion of the world, man. And I gave God the praise and the glory and the honor because I knew I would not have made it without Him. I would not have made it that far because I have a tremendous testimony about that fight. Because after that fight, I ran in the middle of the ring, dropped to my knees, and I said, God, thank you for the victory. You know why? Because I was being attacked mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. My mind was not there for that fight, believe me.
Mm.
I shared that with a few analysts or with a few you know, radio hosts, and
Mm-hmm.
believe me, I think a lot of people can relate with what I was talking about because it's
Mm.
real. There's a real spiritual war going on out there, and
Yep.
Yeah.
even athletes are being, I would say, attacked in
Mm.
that sense because they want your athleticism. They want your fame. They want to use you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say that, and that's about it. But other than that, I tell you what, boxing has changed my life. Boxing touched me in a lot of different ways. It took me out of the streets, and that's why I would tell anyone, boxing is one of the sports of the world. You understand, that have affected the lives of so many people, male
Mhm.
and female,
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
male and female, and that's why I believe no, it's not going to happen, man. MMA will not be able to, you know, uh, I think outs boxing or
Nah.
stop boxing from being what it is.
No.
Nah. Boxing the fabric
Never.
of American society, man.
No way,
Boxing is a
man.
fabric of
It's
this.
too pure. It's too pure.
Mm-hmm.
It's too pure. And you know what? I tell a lot of the young fighters, man. If you want to make it in boxing, if you really make up your mind that you're gonna make this a career, okay, you need to go back right now, all the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean that you got to start to respect this sport and tell yourself that, you know what, if I am going to become anything in this sport, I have to, submit myself to it. If
Yep.
you don't submit yourself to it, how can you be, anything? If you got to submit to it.
Yep.
You got to, in other words, you got to let this thing be the drive of your life. You got to sleep it. You got to think it. You got to, you know, uh, marry it, man.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be
Listen,
everything. Yeah.
Got you.
Got to live boxing. You can't play around with it.
At
Yeah.
all. It's one of those sports where it's a truth. It's one of the most truthful sports ever. It will tell the truth once you get in that ring. If you didn't run and do the work,
Come on, brother.
work
That's
you
right.
did, it's gonna tell the truth instantly.
And you know what? As a coach, I'm a coach now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we have, I thank God for giving me the wisdom and the ability to be able to take at least three guys to the Olympics from the Virgin Islands.
Wow.
We were able to develop three amateur boxing from scratch. It wasn't that somebody came from the United States from a next gym. We trained them from amateurs up to the amateur ranks, and they went and they compete. Okay,
Okay.
and yeah, man, and we were able to take them to the Olympics, two different Olympics, 2008 and 2016.
Wow.
So I really believe that that the Virgin Islands. I tell you this here right now. The Virgin Islands is a place where I believe champions are bred as well. We
Mhm.
have some young athletes coming up right now that is going to really, I believe, enter into the professional arena very soon, and you'll be hearing about it, man. Believe me,
Okay. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
we
believe me,
look forward to that. We look forward to that.
for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. I can imagine how like there's all the water, the swimming, the exercise, and the
And the
good
Oh man, the
food.
weather, man, the weather. Come on, champ, the weather.
Yeah.
Wow,
I was looking
Yeah.
at
wow.
you.
Anytime you come down to the Virgin Islands, man, just call and say, hey, where's Julian? Believe me,
Uh-huh.
everybody knows where I'm at. Where everybody know,
That's right.
where Julian Jackson is.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
awesome, man. That's awesome. I saw Julius was at the beach today. I was like, oh my God, I wish I could go there now.
Oh man,
Man.
Yeah.
wow,
So
it's
now,
amazing. But go ahead.
no, I was gonna get back to your career. I want to say after you won that title,
Right.
you called out everybody, James Toney, Terry Norris, and
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Did you
You
feel
know what?
like they were
I
ducking
called
you?
out. I called out a guy that was one of the toughest guys. They said, but when I called him out, and um, he fought what's his name that passed away, the middleweight that passed away. He and Sugar Ray Leonard fought a couple times. Marvelous Marvin
Oh,
Hagler.
okay.
Okay.
He fought Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and his name is the Beast,
Oh yeah, Magandi. What's it?
Mugabe.
Mugabe.
Mugabe,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mugabe.
John the
Yes,
Beast Mugabe,
the
yeah.
Beast. I wanted an opportunity to fight the Beast.
Oh
Wow.
man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, nice. Go
Never
on.
got the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Never got the
Yeah.
opportunity. I think it would have been a tremendous fight. I wanted to fight James Toney. As a matter of fact, I sat on the table with Don King, Bob Arum, and James Toney. I signed the contract,
Mm.
and I pushed it over to James Toney. James Toney had the pen in his hand, and he's sitting up to go sign the contract. And then all of a sudden, his manager, okay, says, "Hold up, stop, don't sign it. I got
Mm.
somebody on the phone." And I'm like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Bob Arum said, "You can't sign this contract. If you
Wow.
sign this contract, they will sue your drawers off of you."
Oh
Dang.
wow. Wow.
Wow. Look,
Wow.
I was so,
Politics, man.
yeah, politics, man. I was so upset. Oh my goodness. I told Dan King, I said, "Well, you got to find somebody that's going to take his place and that will keep the purse." The purse was 850,000.
Oh
Mm.
wow. Mm.
You know who they choose for me to fight?
Uh,
None
Drake.
other. Huh?
Is it Drayton?
Who? No,
Terry Norris.
no. They said in order for me to get the purse that is on the contract with James Toney, I've got to fight somebody that is not that has a very good record,
Mm-hmm.
and it's building up, and that was Roy Jones.
Roy
Oh,
Jones. I
Roy.
thought he was gonna say that next. Yeah. Wow. That would have been an
That was
amazing fight.
that was
Yeah.
Roy Jones.
Oh,
And
dang.
so Dan King said he's going to call, and he's going to call this, and he know that they would want to accept it because of the purse. So he calls in my presence, and he called and he spoke. At that time, Roy Jones' father was his manager
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and trainer. And Dan King called him and said, "Listen, I got a fight for you. It's a championship fight." And he's telling him everything, but he didn't say the name. He didn't call my name yet. He says, 850, and his father is saying, "Wow, that sounds good. Can the purse go up?" He says, "Sure. We can negotiate. We negotiate." Who is the opponent? Julian the Hog Jackson. He said, "No, no, no, no. It's too. I can't fight him right now. He's too. No, no, no."
Man, you gotta. Hey, I respect
I'll
this.
be honest with you, man. I tell you what, I was so upset. I said, "Wow," and my purse went down to 400 and change
Mm.
because Dan King couldn't find
Wow.
a suitable opponent
Yeah.
with a good record to fight me, and I
Wow.
fought somebody else out of New York somewhere
Yeah.
somehow, and that was it. But I've never gotten the opportunity. I tried to get an opportunity to fight for $1 million. I told Dan King, "You got to pay me, man," and he tried to set up one with Terry. Terry Norris fought. What's his name? Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, he was supposed to fight me because he said he would fight the winner of me and Terry Norris, and I knocked out Terry Norris.
Yeah. When you
Yeah.
got Terry Norris. Yeah.
So the next thing you know, I'm all excited because, hey, wow, I know my purse is gonna go high. I mean, it's gonna go to the top of the mountain where I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna make the money that I believe that I'm worth. And the next thing you know, I heard that Sugar Ray Leonard has decided to fight the loser instead of the winner.
Mm.
Wow.
He fought Terry Norris
Terry
instead,
Norris. Yeah.
Yeah.
and Terry Norris still knocked him out.
Mm.
Mm.
I never forget it. As a matter of fact, I went to the press conference. I think it was in New York. Yeah, I had to stop that. I had to stop. I said, "You can't talk about being a champion, man, because you were supposed to fight me." And
Mm.
Terry, listen to me, not Terry Norris, but Sugar Ray Leonard. He said, "Julian, this is in public. This is at the weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
And Sugar Ray Leonard said, Julian, the reason why I'm not going to fight you is because you hit too hard. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not
Yeah,
telling no lie. I'm not telling no
yeah,
story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
And what I mean, what at that time, you know, I don't know what really took place. I don't know what happened with the WBA council, but they just did not fight, you know, for me
mm-hmm.
in order for me to get those kind of fights.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So
It was
now,
just crazy.
what you got, Sheik?
Yeah,
What
I'm
you say?
saying it was risky. They were afraid of that power. I'm sure of it. I know for a fact if you would have fought Roy Jones, that would have been his first KO back then. If you
Back
Whoa,
then when
man!
he
I'm telling
was he
you.
was young. Yeah.
Look, I was hungry. I was in my prime. You know, I was just, looking for opportunity to fight the best. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I really believe that it would have done a whole lot for me if I had the opportunity to fight the best. Terry Norris, Roy Jones, you know, the likes of what's his name that turned down the contract with Dan King because it was just because I was with Dan King.
yeah,
You know,
Mm-hmm.
James Tony,
Mm-hmm.
promoter and managers didn't want anything to do with Dan King.
Okay. Yeah.
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 So
Similar to how
now,
they
after
doing
you,
now.
okay. Yeah,
Similar to how the
same way,
promoters are acting now, the same way now
same
today.
way.
Right, right, right. But you know, one of the things that I think it's good and it could be bad.
Yeah,
Mm,
Um, a lot of fighters are getting involved in the business of the boxing, which is good. Okay, but I believe it can be a deterrent. It can be a obstacle. It could be something that can block their focus
mm-hmm.
on training
yeah,
and really giving everything that they need to give in the gym. By getting involved in the promotion, getting involved, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect of the of boxing.
yeah,
And if you can't trust somebody, if you don't have the trust, and it's difficult for a lot of these young. But I'm realizing that a lot of young fighters now are starting to promote themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that came from Floyd Mayweather, and he
yeah,
is a success at that. You know,
yeah,
but a lot of other guys now are trying to do the same thing, and you never know. It might work. It might
right.
not work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
True statement.
Yeah. Now, after you knocked out Norris in the second round and one of the most replayed knockouts of your career, he went on to become a three-time champion, labeled as one of the best fighters in the '90s, and
Imagine
another
that.
Hall of Famer. Is that something you? First of all, is that something that you've seen in him? Did you see that level of talent in him before you fought him?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we, when we were given the opportunity to fight this young and upcoming fighter in Terry Norris, we looked at his his record. We looked at his fights. Very flashy, very quick on his feet as well as in his legs.
Mm-hmm.
But we realized that there was really no power,
Mm.
you know, and I think that was um, you know, I think the antidote or the thing that really wanted us to fight, wanted me to fight. Um, my team, I looked at him and saw some things, some flaws in his defense, and by working and pushing him back would have definitely, you know, um, gave me the upper hand. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the fight with Terry Norris, I was constantly coming forward. I was not going to allow him to push me back.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept coming forward, and eventually um, he would have given me the opportunity, and that's what happened I think it was the second or the third round.
Yeah. Good check. Um, and what do you think about because that was a devastating knockout? Like I said, one of the most replayed knockouts of your career. And a lot of times, especially now, if someone gets knocked out like that, they'll try to relegate them to club shows or something, no matter what, people, fans and finicky fans would be like, "Oh, nah, I remember he got knocked out. He's garbage. He's garbage."
Right, right.
What do you think about just that kind of bounce back as far as what I'm saying? Same with you as well with the
Yeah, yeah.
McClellan fight.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with losing, man.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just that you got to know how to lose.
Right.
yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah, the best.
because of that fight against the Jamaican what's his name again from Jamaica,
McClellan,
Mike McCallum.
McCallum, yeah, McCallum.
Mike McCallum.
Oh,
That
McCollum. Yeah, I remember
that was my
one,
first. That was my first
That's the first
loss.
loss.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw that one. Yeah.
Mike McCallum was my first loss, and it's
Yeah.
amazing that these McCallum guys somehow, I guess, I don't know, but Mike McCallum was my first loss. But I'll tell you what, he made me the better fighter
Yeah.
because of that loss,
Mm-hmm.
and that caused me to dig deeper. That caused me to work harder. That caused me to, wake up really and realize that, hey, I've got to, go out there and defend myself in a much wiser way. I got to be able to use my skills much better and set my opponents up much better than I was doing, and it made me a better fighter, man. A lot of people are afraid to lose. A lot of people are afraid, to feel, I guess, to feel that they're vulnerable in certain areas if they go in and lose. But you know what? My loss is what made me, realize what I needed to work on, and I think that made me a better fighter.
Yeah. All right, now
A much better fighter.
heading into that Harold Graham fight, you had eye surgery. How concerning was that?
Who had
Heading
eye
into-
surgery?
You.
Yes, I had eye surgery. I don't think that the eye surgery really was a problem. My vision is good right now too,
Mm-hmm.
as a matter of fact. But I had an injury in my back, one of my spine. I was training in Puerto Rico, and I got injured. But I should have pulled out the fight, but we are like gladiators, man. We don't like to, and I went in, but the second fight is what I'm talking about. But the
Yeah,
first fight,
this the McClellan fights, right? The Gerald McClellan
right,
fight.
Gerald McClellan, yes. But the first fight, I had him, but I made a mistake, man. I dropped my hand.
Yeah, I
And he
watched
caught
that
me.
one.
And I tell you what, I literally look. His corner was saying they were going to throw in the towel, but they were actually arguing and saying, listen, because Gerald McClellan was complaining about his legs, something was wrong with his legs. He almost didn't make it out in that fight, but he came out, and that's when he caught me, because I thought I had him, and I dropped my hand, and he was able to catch me one of those.
Yeah.
Oh man, right hand. You know what I'm saying?
I remember watching that fight. That was one of the reasons that got me involved in boxing.
Wow.
Was that fight, and as an amateur, I was known for being a powerful puncher as well.
Right.
But watching you two, I mean, literally just throwing bombs, boom, boom, but then your chins were so strong though, taking those punches, and it's something about that era where you can punch, he knows he can punch, but you both took the risks in fighting each other. From having you guys had like outstanding boxing percentages. You know what I'm saying? Your record knockout percentages was so high.
Right.
But to take such a fight like that proves how that era was more than just
Wow.
money. It was about
You know-
legacy too.
Before that fight, I had an opportunity to speak to him, and we both said, if I catch you, I'm gonna knock you out. No, serious.
Right.
No. Listen, I said to him, if I catch you, I'm gonna knock you out. you know. And he
Wow,
said the same thing. He said, if I catch you, I'm gonna knock you out.
man.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you know, and that's exactly what happened, man.
That's what.
You know, I got knocked out.
yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
again, you know, I came back from that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to, you know, recoup myself, and I went into to the opportunity. I mean, went into that again to fight the second time.
Yeah,
The
Mm-hmm.
second time, I shouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
fought because I was injured.
I can tell too. From I
Mm-hmm.
watched it again. I said before I come on here,
Different.
I watched it again this morning. I
Right,
knew something was off with you.
right,
You know, you can
That's
see
second one.
it. You
Yeah.
know, something was off. I knew. I said this
right.
for Julian. I
Yes,
see
yes.
Julian work. He don't just go down like that. It's
Right,
something
right.
was off. You
The
know.
doctor said I shouldn't have gone in, but I had
Mm-hmm.
to go in, man. I still went in, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, but after that, I was able to fight for the title again, and I won it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
think it was in Jersey. Yeah,
Augustino
a guy
Cardamone.
from yeah, he was from where? Spain.
I think it's Spain.
Yeah, I think he was Spain.
Yeah. I think it was
Yeah,
Spain. Yeah.
it was just amazing, man. You know,
And he was
and like I said,
34 years
yeah,
old with a record of 50-3 and a two-time champ.
Wow.
right,
But
right.
did you still have the same hunger, and what motivated you?
Back then, I tell you what, my family, you know what I'm saying? Just the love of the sport
Mm-hmm.
as well. You know, knowing that, you know, what really brought me out of you know, the ghetto, out of the streets, you know, and hanging on as much as I can. Um, you know, I know age was setting in, but you know what? I thank God that because of the respect of the sport, my health, my mind, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, was kept. You know, God kept me, man.
Yeah.
That's all I could say.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen so many fighters, uh, good friends of mine as well, you know, and because of, I think, the disrespect to the sport,
Mm.
um, have affected them a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I just being real, man. I'm not here to make myself look as if I'm this and I'm no. But I think this is something that is so important for a lot of the young fighters to understand. You have to respect yourself, the
Yep.
sport. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to
Mm-hmm.
become anything, if you're going to achieve anything,
Mm.
there has to be a level of respect, man.
That's a fact. Sugar Man said he's from
He's
Italy.
from
They said
Italy.
he's from
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, Italy.
Cardamone.
Okay, Italy.
Yep.
Wow. So that was a
Yeah.
tremendous fight as well. And wow, it's just amazing. You know, when I
Yeah.
think back about that, and that's what I like about these shows, man. And I thank you guys for that.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
it brings
Mm-hmm.
a spark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
it brings a spark, man.
was the feeling the same winning that third title as it was winning the first?
Wow. Not really, not really. It was not the same, but yet you felt that I think that you know, excitement that you get for just you know, winning a world title again, and knowing that you try to hold on to it as long as you can,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, things happen, and you try to, you know, regroup, and you try to get yourself back into place, and you maybe finally found yourself, you find your feet again, and then you go back into the ring to fight for the title maybe once more, and boom, it happens. You won the championship again, and it's very close, you know. But yet, um, I tell you what, I really believe that the fact that I went in there again and fought for this title. This was the third time. You know, I've
Mm-hmm.
already had two championship, but WBC twice, but
Mm-hmm.
um, it was just a whole lot different, in the sense that you know, even though it was not my first championship. Now it's the third belt or the third time, the second time I won the WBC. The spark of winning it and you know was there, but I don't know the notoriety, the fan base type of, I think, electricity that was around me in when I first won wasn't there.
No.
Yeah.
I hope you
Yeah.
could understand that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
You
So
know, but other than that, man, I was just proud of going in there and winning that championship. You know, taking that was a milestone to me in a sense too.
okay. Now,
Yeah.
how did you make the decision to retire, and was it a difficult decision to make?
No, it wasn't a difficult decision. I was in Vegas, and I have a relationship not only with my wife but with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a religious person. I have a relationship, just like I have a relationship with my wife. I have a relationship with God, and God comes first. And I know God spoke to me. I was getting ready to fight my last fight. And the reason why I say my last fight is because God told me in the dressing room,
Mm-hmm.
even if I won, even if I won, it would have been my last fight.
Okay.
And I said, and the Lord said to me, this is your last fight. I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you on a different platform, and wow, I told my wife, I said, the Lord just told me this is my last fight. And I
Mm.
said, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out there buying, man. I want to win this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went out there, man, and this was a tough kid, boy. Wow.
Yeah.
And we
The,
went at it, man, and
the
he
Verno
caught me, man.
Phillips.
Yeah, he caught me. I didn't have the shine like I used to,
Yeah.
but you know what? I thank God because God knew that it would have been my last fight. God
Mm-hmm.
knew that. I didn't know that, but God knew that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I made the decision, and I've never went back. I think it was in um, it was 1996.
90s.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was
Mm.
1996 when I made that decision to
Wow.
retire.
Okay. Now, how was it being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame?
Whoa, wow. I tell you what, man. I've heard so much about other athletes, football, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
being inducted into the World Hall of Fame, and boxing, and Sugar Ray Leonard and all those guys from way back, and I thought about it, and I said, man, I wonder if that will ever happen. But I said, no, I did not believe that, believe it or not, I was that caliber of fighter.
Mm.
Believe it or not. And I got a call, wow, from Minnesota. Ed Brophy, I think is his name, the president of the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, is this Mr. Jackson? And I said, yes. He says, are you sitting or standing? I said, I'm sitting, man. What's up? How you doing? And he said, well, I've got some news for you. You have been inducted, man, into the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, yeah? Wow, great. Thank you, man. I was just like, normal,
Yeah.
But then he started to say, he said, Mr. Jackson, do you know that by you being inducted, your name is going to go down in history? You could you could pass away 10 years, but your name is going to be in boxing for the rest of your life.
Forever.
I mean, forever.
Ever.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
And I said,
Mhm.
wow. I said, yeah, it's great. He says, man, welcome. You deserve it. Um, and we're gonna see you, man. And when the media got a hold of it here in the Virgin Islands, and oh man, it was just amazing. People was just astonished, but yet I really didn't see it as something so much so big. So I didn't really analyze it. It didn't really you know come home to me
Mm.
then. But
Yeah.
when I went up
When you
there,
went there.
man,
Uh-huh.
that's when I really realized. I
Mm-hmm.
said, wow, man, thank God, man. Wow. I
Uh,
didn't realize that my talent would have you know done so much, and that's why I tell a
mm-hmm.
lot of young people, man, if you do something and you do your best,
Yes,
you
indeed.
give it your all. You may not know what, may come out of it, but if you go out there and do your best, something good might happen.
Facts.
And I
Yeah.
believe that's what happened, with me.
All right. You got some
Yeah.
shit? You got
Yeah.
anything for?
In my opinion, you one of my favorite fighters. You had your timing was impeccable. I mean, you'll instantly catch somebody on chins. You'll catch them in places where they don't expect it, because that's what
Right, right.
knockout is about, is the punch you don't see. And a lot of
That's
times
right.
the shots that you were throwing was just it was an amazing. And then your build, you wasn't that big of a guy.
Right, right,
It,
right. I
you
wasn't that
know,
muscular either,
you wasn't muscular at all. You just you would catch the person in the right place. And then
Right.
you know, this one of them sports where you may be a gentle giant out of the ring, but in there you was a killer. You was a killer.
Yeah, man. I must say this that I think I learned that my trainer especially taught me this. He says you know you don't have to crank up. You don't have to get big muscles. You don't have to lift too much weight to hit hard. He says you have the ability naturally, but now you have to enhance it.
Yeah.
And the way you enhance it, you have to be able to have the right timing. Okay, if you're gonna throw the right hand, just don't throw the hand. That's an arm punch. But you got to throw your shoulders, your hip. You
Right.
got to turn your hip, your
Right.
knees, your toes, your toenail. Put everything into that punch.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that. I practice it for hours and hours. And you know what? When I was 16 years old, I was given the opportunity to fight, not to fight, but to spar with a professional.
Okay.
Okay. And this guy was one of the top professional in the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget, his name is Kid Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kid Flash. And my trainer told me, he said, listen, all I want you to do is shoot two jabs. Shoot two jabs to his face. Just stick two jabs and just your straight right hand to his solar plex.
Mm.
And I went and I did that. And that guy dropped
Mm.
on the ground and
Mm.
started to roll
Mm.
and
Oh
I
man.
listen to me. I ran over to him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I ran over to this guy. Oh, and my trainer said, "No, stop it. It
Yeah.
happens."
Right.
Yeah.
And after that sparring session, right? It was taunted on me. It was placed on me. That I am going to be one of the toughest, hardest punchers,
Yeah.
okay, in the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it started from there. And I
Wow.
believe me, I started, you know, realizing that I have this ability to punch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times I don't even in some of my fights, my trainer would tell me, I want you to box, you're gonna box because everybody think you're just into knocking these guys out.
Yeah.
But I go in there and because I throw the punch properly, I throw the punch correctly.
Right.
When I hit you on the button, if I hit you to the body, if I hit you wherever, you're going to feel it. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it will knock you out. It will stop you because I threw the punch correctly. Not that I threw it hard, but
Mm-hmm.
it was thrown correctly, and my body was behind of it,
Yeah.
and the power was generated because of that.
When you fought Joe McCullen, right?
Yes.
Even though the outcome turned out the way it did, me personally, my respect levels of you never diminished, not one bit. Because I
Hmm.
knew it was one of those fights where whoever catches who on the
Right.
at the right time was going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the fights where you both who if you would have knocked him out, it would have still been one of those ones we know if you get
Right.
caught slipping and I get you, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's it.
I take that one right there as that was just a good chess match that you both picked together and chose to fight. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that loss there, I don't even count that as one. That's one of those ones that you gotta say, oh, Julian Jackson got knocked. No, either one of those guys would have been knocked out if one of them got caught slipping. I saw when you let your hand because you had him, you rocked them good
Right.
several
Right. Right.
times. And then when he caught you, he was coming forward. He rushed into the punch and went through
But
it.
let me tell you something about Gerald McClendon. He was a light heavyweight, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was naturally right.
Yeah. I was. Listen to me. I was a junior middleweight. Okay, and I
Yeah.
went up to middleweight
Wow.
because of my power. Because Dan King promised me $1 million payday.
Okay, I understand.
Uh, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And my punching ability actually, you know, made the way for me in that weight class. I could have stayed at junior middleweight and became
Yeah.
again the reigning champion
Mm-hmm.
there and stay there.
Yeah.
But ambitious too, being ambitious. I wanted to get a piece of that rock. I wanted to
Yeah.
make more money. And the only way to do that, you have to move up in weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I moved up in weight.
I believe that if it wasn't for you doing that, going up and challenging yourself, that's what put you in that's what make Hall of Famers, what you did.
Serious, man.
That's what you
Serious.
did. You put yourself in that position to become Hall of Fame because you took the risk and put yourself out there. So it
Serious,
was
man.
destined by God for you to be where you are.
Awesome, man. I feel led to say this, man, that I was inducted into the Nevada Hall of Fame
Okay.
just last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was supposed to have been, I think, 2020 or
20,
something. 20. Yeah.
2020 or
In
2019.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it got canceled because I think it's the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity, I had the opportunity to go up and to speak to the world. And, you know, a lot of people, I met a lot of ex-champions, man. I just love when boxers come together, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we've been in there and we've been, just going through the grind. And now we are retired and now we can talk and now we can share.
Yeah.
Now we can really express a lot of things that we couldn't express then.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I met um, Michael Nunn. I wanted to fight Michael Nunn.
Okay.
I went into LA. I went into his backyard and challenged him. As a matter of fact, Dan King promoted him, and Dan King was promoting me. Both
Yeah.
of us was being promoted by Dan King. And I met him in Las Vegas. Man, I tell you, boxers are a different type of breed, man.
Yeah.
I must say that there's something special about us. There's something that happens to I don't know, our mind, our spirit,
Yep.
because of what we do. We train. We go away to camps,
Yep.
and we bring our flesh under subjection.
Yep.
We stay away from, you know, the women, the drugs, and all the different things. You know what I'm saying? And to get our body prepared, to go into war. But I realized that life in itself is a war.
Yeah.
And I spoke at the Hall of Fame in Nevada. And I said, God, if you give me the opportunity to tell the world who you are, I'm going to use it. And I tell you what, I did not realize what would have happened. I didn't have anything written down on paper, but God gave me the words to speak.
Mhm.
Okay, at the Las Vegas Hall of Fame, and I told them I was inducted into 4 Hall of Fames: the Virgin Islands Hall of Fame, Black Hall of Fame. Um, California also had a Hall of Fame
Okay.
that I was inducted in, and then we have the Minnesota, and then Nevada. But I said on the stage that there's one Hall of Fame that I have been inducted to, and it's better than all of the Hall of Fames
Wow.
here on earth.
Mhm.
And people were like, what is he talking about?
Mhm.
And I said to them, many of you in here can be inducted into that Hall of Fame as well.
Mm.
And everybody was like, what is he talking about?
Mm.
And then I said it. I said, I'm in the Universal Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
My name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life.
Okay.
And I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And look, every one of you can be in that Hall of Fame.
Mm.
And all you've got to do is accept Christ into your life, and He will change your life. Do you know, after that speech, I had so many people calling me. I had,
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, the president of the Nevada Hall of Fame came to me with his wife and said, Julian, can you please pray for me?
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm like, wow. I said, okay. And I prayed for him and his wife because his wife was going through some problems. She was having some physical problems, okay, that was really serious. And he asked me, and I said, man, something had to be said or something had to be seen in order for this man
Right.
to come to this brother and
Yeah.
ask him to pray for his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? That's what boxing does.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? God uses, look, athletes, and
Right.
not just boxing alone, but I've heard of so many sports where men and women have come out of the sport, retired from the sport, and what they do for the people, what they're doing for the poor, for the hungry, you know what I mean, for the
Yep.
homeless. It's amazing because of the love that sport, you know, have brought to us.
Yep.
Mm.
It's amazing, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes, indeed.
I'm just ecstatic, man. I'm just excited because of what boxing have been doing in my life, even up to now. Listen to me, I'm excited to go to the gym. I
Yeah.
can't wait to go to the gym tomorrow.
Yes,
Mm.
indeed.
Why? Because I have youngsters in there. Their lives are being affected by this program.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go because young kids are coming off the streets.
Mhm.
Young kids are saying, you know what? I'm not going to be drinking anymore. I'm not going to
Yep.
be smoking anymore.
Mhm.
Yep. Yes,
Just
indeed.
because of the sport of boxing.
Yes,
That's right.
indeed.
That's right.
Wow, it's amazing.
I
You
know
know,
that.
Julian, this was the conversation we had, I think, about last week. We were
Yeah,
talking about the situation that happened between the boxer was involved with drugs.
yeah.
But I
Mhm.
explained my situation. I used to drink I quit drinking 2014.
Wow.
So what I did was I went back into how I was as a fighter
Yeah, yeah.
and applied that back to keeping me away from it.
Come
as
on
they
now,
did it
amen.
back then.
Yeah,
So that's what I tell people. Boxing is more than just taking punches and giving punches. It's
that's
a
right. That's right,
lifestyle.
brother.
It's a lifestyle.
It is.
You know,
It
and
is.
it saved so many of us and kept us away from it. I know
Mhm.
countless fighters that don't no longer fight, but still live like boxers. I don't drink,
Right.
I don't smoke,
That's
I
right.
eat right, and I
Hey.
take care of myself.
Wow, beautiful, man. That's amazing. I mean, I love that. And that's the truth. I know you're speaking the truth. And that's an analogy that I believe, a lot of people need to realize because some parents, some kids are being, I would say, um, held back
Right.
because they think that boxing is a violent sport.
It's
Mhm.
and it's not.
Yes, it's a tough sport. It's a contact sport.
Right.
Football is also a contact sport,
Facts.
but it's the individual that makes the difference.
Facts.
It's who you are.
Mhm.
Boxing was not violent for me because I am not violent.
That's
Mhm.
right. Likewise.
You know, football can be violent, a violent sport because there are people in football that love, man, the sport
Yep.
Mhm.
just because you know it's a sport and they have come to love it. It's not because they're out there trying to kill somebody. No, that's just the sport. That's the
Right.
way the sport has been developed to tackle your opponent, and they found different ways to tackle the opponent, and sometimes it causes injuries, and because it's an injury you think it's violent. It's not violent, man.
Right.
Mhm.
At
Just
all.
what comes with it. I got bust nose, I get bust mouth, I got bump eyes. As an amateur coming up, my
Yeah.
mother when I came home, my mother said, "What did you get in the fight?" I said, "No, mommy, this from the gym.
Yeah.
I was in the gym,
Get
so it's all
immune
right,
to
ma. It's all right."
it.
You
Yeah.
know.
We get
So it
immune
was
to it.
it was a black eye that was deserved.
Mhm.
That was a deserved black eye. As a matter
That's
of fact,
right.
that black eye
Yeah.
made me want to go back to the gym more.
That's right. That's right. That's what it
That
do.
bust lip, that bust mouth, that blood nose, that
Exactly.
bleeding nose.
Uh-huh.
You
You
see,
know what I'm saying?
you get used to them. They don't even bother you
That's
after a
right. That's right.
while. Well, sir, it was an honor
I
and
got
a
one more. I
pleasure,
got
man.
one
You got
more
one more
question.
question. Okay.
One more
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask you. So people remember you for your KO power and your knockout, your incredible knockouts throughout your whole career. If you
Right.
had your choice, what would you want people to remember you by?
Wow. I would like them to remember me by being a God fearing man,
Mhm.
an athlete that was tremendously gifted, but yet have the love of God in his life.
That's right.
That's what I would love people to
That's
remember me by.
that's right. That's right. Actually,
Well, it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on here. You are one of my favorite fighters of all time. I talk
Yeah, so
about you
man, God
all
bless
the
you, brother.
time, brother. I swear to you,
uh-huh.
man. I literally, it's just the way you fought, man. You know when I think of knockout artists, I think of as like painting a picture, and you would
Right.
also when it come to that picture painting.
Wow.
It was an honor and a pleasure to have you on here. For those that's
Thank
on
you
here,
very much, man.
please hit the like and subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. We have no other than the one of the hardest punches of all times, ladies and gentlemen, Julian the Hawk Jackson. The
One
second win.
love.
Yes, indeed, brother. The second win, Boxing Media. Peace.
Yeah, the second win. One love, man. God bless.
Appreciate you, brother.